Hi, everyone. Welcome to More with Gabby. Remember, you always get more with Gabby, even a double O in more. I am so excited to be here with you guys today again and just sharing my life and sharing how my life has gone through a lot of obstacles, but how I've made changes and who I am today. It has to do a lot with everything I've been through in the past. And I wanted to talk today to you guys about what life coaching has done to me and who my life coach. Actually, we are going to be having him as a guest here in the podcast in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. But, it started in high school. My father died 11 days before my 16th birthday. And it was a rough moment in my life, but we always have to go through challenges in order to evolve as a person. We have to go through adversity in order to realize who we really are in life, right? That's what makes us. That's what defines us. But it doesn't determine who we are. And those are different concepts that as we get in through the podcast and we start recording more in the studio, you'll get to know a lot of my perspective. And always remember that I share from a heart of love. I share from a heart of perspective, never in a heart of telling you what to do or what you should believe in or judging you in any way, shape, or form. So always keep that in mind when you're listening to my podcast. So my life coach came into my life at the age of 16. He was my homeroom teacher and also a math teacher. And for those of you that know me personally, know the fact that I absolutely hate math. So it was my third time taking geometry. I still don't know why we needed geometry. And I'm more of the person that I don't mind taking things or learning new things. I love learning. But one of the biggest things is even when people tell me no, just tell me why you told me no. So it was the third time that I was taking geometry and I just didn't get it. It made zero sense to me. But give me a coloring book, give me a piece of paper and a pencil, and I'll draw you, the next building next to us all in pencil. So I do have a creative side to me, and I always enjoyed English. I always enjoyed reading and writing. I journal a lot, to be honest. And so we all have our strengths, right? So he started math class with something very intriguing. He would start with a story to get your attention, and then he would go on to teaching. And I found that truly amazing because he had me so intrigued and so drawn into what he was talking about that I just kept paying attention the remaining part of the class. So I ended up passing the class for the first time in geometry, and I was excited. So then our relationship grew as I had him in homeroom. I started sharing how I had lost my father and how that had affected me because my father was an alcoholic and he struggled with addiction. And it was very hard for me to understand when I was young what addiction was and why my father had certain behaviors and did certain things, certain ways, to where it actually affected me as an adult, how I made decisions and how I saw things. And I had to heal from those things in order to be who I am today. And I believe that it affects everyone differently. And to be able to talk about it now without crying and being able to help other people tells me that I've healed myself. So would I change anything in my life? No. I think that everything in your life happens to shape you who you are. And also it helps you evolve. And a lot of situations like that will also define your true colors, right? Through adversity, you find out who your real friends are. Through challenges, you find out who your real people are. So I think that has helped me in so many ways. And I hope that, you can take light into that and be able to take that and adapt it into your life as well. So my life coach. So I'm reading my notes. So it's okay. You don't have to memorize anything. I just want to make sure that I give you a real, I would say a real gist of what life coaching has done to me. because that's what today's about. Today is about sharing with you how a life coach changed my life. He changed my life so much that I want to be able to give that back to someone else, right? And that's where you know the real impact is. You know that there was a lot of impact when someone changed your life so much that you want to go turn around and do the same exact thing for somebody else. So as I was going through high school, I was coming up on my senior year, and honestly, I come from a mom that didn't go to school here, and she didn't know much about scholarships. And my basketball coach had reached out and said, hey, you're eligible for the scholarship. So they sent me to the Career College Center. They gave me the application. I had no clue what to do. And I think that a lot of times we're taught to not ask for help, that if you don't know it, it's better to hide it. It's better not to ask. And I think that a lot of times it's because other people make fun of us. And instead of, and that causes us to kind of hold back. And think about it for a moment. How many times have you ridiculed someone or said something perhaps that instead of them sharing with you what their struggle was or helping them in like asking for help and you helping them, it bounded out to nothing. And it changed my perspective in a lot of things, because in that time I was humble enough to ask for help. And he didn't ridicule me. He didn't, say anything that was gonna make me or push me away from not asking him for help. And that made the big difference. That was the true key success to why I continued to go ask for help, because he normalized asking for help. So he helped me through the entire letter. I went on to winning $2,000 of a scholarship that contributed to my first vehicle, right? And I was so excited about that. I was so thankful, but then it kind of changed my life, because now I had someone that I couldn't go to. I never really had my father in the picture, to be honest, to ask him questions about things, because alcoholism took over him. And hear my heart out. I'm not mad that my father was a certain way and that he chose a certain life. I think that we all make choices in our lives that we don't realize the outcome of it. And that's why it's important, as people that have addictions, to be able to seek help. And like I told you guys will laugh with me. You guys will go on a journey. There'll be tears. There's certain things that it's not that they don't heal, but it's just hard not to think about how it would be if he was still here had he made different choices. And so I'm not mad at him. It doesn't affect me in the sense of, could it have been different? Perhaps. Am I mad because I didn't have certain things? No. I think that God gave me the journey, or the journey has been however you want to see it. I just believe in God, and I'm not here to Bible thumb you or anything for that matter. But I'm a true believer that the journey has been how it should be, and that nothing should be changed or anything. So as I faced those things and those struggles, I didn't know how to deal with my emotions. I didn't know how to cope with that whole situation. It was very hard for me. So I started reaching out to him. I started, telling him about certain things, and he felt compelled. The more I asked him questions, he felt that he can help me. And I graduated. Then I went on to college. I moved to Las Vegas from Southgate, California when I was 18, 19 years of age. And I continued to maintain that relationship with him, because to me, it was important to get perspective. It was important to be able to go to someone that can coach and mentor me at the same time. And the most important part was that the fact that he wanted more for me. He believed in me so much, and that's all I needed. I needed someone to believe in me, that when I was choosing a different path, when everyone was making fun of me because, I was so focused on my career, that when people were mad because I didn't go to their baby shower, but because I was making a career choice for me, because I was setting myself up financially, career-wise, and in every other form and area of my life, when they were mad because of that I was okay because I was rooted into the decision that I had made. So no matter what way the wind would blow, I was still deep rooted into my heart. So he normalized those things for me. And that made a huge difference in my life, because it allowed me to accept me for who I was and what I had to contribute to the world. So that's what coaching was doing to me. It was helping me in my life be okay with who I was and be okay with what I was doing and the decisions I was making, because I was living a life by design. I wasn't living to no one else's expectations, and I wasn't going to start living by other people's expectations of me. Here's the thing. It's my life, not anyone else's. God gave me the privilege to be on this earth. So I am going to design what I want out of it, so that when I leave, I found it better than I left it, right? I'm sorry. So that when I leave here, I left it better than I found it. And that's my sole purpose. So going back to what life coaching and how it helped me be okay living under my expectations. No one's going to raise the bar on me. I have control of the decisions that I make. So, you sitting here listening to this podcast today, no one, and I give you the permission to tell anyone that you are living your best life under your boundaries, under your conditions, and your expectations. Because that's how it needs to be. You sit here and you think about things, and the number one thing that comes out is, what are people going to think of me? Here's my answer to that. I don't care what people think of me. What people think of me is none of my business, right? So I believe in me, and that's the most important thing. But there was a lot of instances in my life where I needed someone else to believe in me so hard that it was even more believed than I believed in myself. And that was my coach. He believed in me so hard. He allowed me to brainstorm and find my own solutions, questioned me when I needed to be questioned. But it wasn't questioning to be questioned and feel offended, right? It was to ensure that I was doing what I wanted to do, and that the solutions and the outcome was what I was seeking versus what I was thinking, right? So as I went through college, every time I'd run back when it was time to make career moves, and even along, the journey of what's my next step, what can I do? We would sit there and brainstorm. When I had emotional breakthroughs of things that I faced in family and or in relationships and everything, I always sought him because I needed accountability. I needed someone to hold me accountable for my own actions, but also hold me accountable to my goals. So if it didn't fit in my goals, it was easy for me to say no. And if it fit my goals, it was easy for me to say yes on my schedule or in life or in anything in general. If it benefited me, great. If it didn't, then hey, move on to the next thing, right? So how a life coach plays into that is because I've discussed my ideas with him. I discussed and brainstormed my goals with him before, and the solutions and the things that I needed to overcome and the obstacles that were stopping me from, getting to where I needed. And he held me accountable against them. and that's what allowed me to be persistent and persevere through my entire journey. A life coach usually it takes 20, 30 years for someone to get to a peak. There's a lot of competition out there. There's a lot of things that face you and adversity and so many things that it can sidetrack you from your journey or from where you need to be at. So every time I seeked him, we overcame and we had breakthroughs. That allowed my career to fast track and be able to land major roles in large hospitality industry, hotel industries, and allowed me to be able to pivot during the pandemic and move along into now being a life coach and being able to launch my own podcast, launch my own brand and everything. But he's always been alongside with me, again, holding me accountable to my goals, keeping me on track, and ensuring that I don't get sidetracked by the small things or the things that don't matter. Because I think that a lot of times it's like we almost want to get sidetracked to almost create an excuse. And you know what? At the end of the day, anyone that looks for an excuse is going to find one. There's 1,000,001 excuses, but make one reason being the reason why you go out there and pursue your passion. And guys, here's the thing. At the end of the day, it does not matter what you do to put food on the table for your family. But what does matter is to make sure that you're happy every single day. Whether it's a job, whether it's a business, whether it's being the best mom, an executive, whatever it is, that you're pursuing your true passion. Because only then you'll be able to be happy to get up every single day with a beat to your step. And that's what matters. A life coach saved me from the bumps and bruises, from the BS of life, right? Help me keep on track with the naysayers yapping, because everybody got something to say about your life, right? But the good thing is that I wasn't asking other people about what they had to say about my life, because it didn't matter. And the only person that I consulted was myself, and the only other person that I shared with was my coach, because we knew what the ultimate goal is. And we still know what the ultimate goal is. This is just the beginning. This is only the stepping stone, because there is so much more to come. And I am just so excited to be able to go on that journey with you. I'm excited to be able to share that, because you that's across the screen needs to realize that it's normal. That it's normal to succeed, that it's normal to be you, that it's normal to pursue your passions, and that life coaching is normal. I know that in the Latino culture, we're like, no, you don't need to nobody, like, you know. And I just said, you know what? And my mom is clear of this. My mom never went to college. So there was no way that my mom can coach me through college. My mom was never in a career path in the executive world. So there was no way, and no offense and no disrespect to my mother. I do believe that I get my work habit from her, but she was not going to be able to coach me through being an executive, because she just didn't have that capacity. She taught me what work ethic and to show up every day no matter what was, but she wasn't going to be able to get me there. And I had to help her understand that at some point. But because I knew the bigger picture, I knew my end goal was to be able to show mom. And now she sees it. And now she's more than thankful to my coach, right? My coach went on to be what the closest thing to a father figure was to me. And and I'm thankful for the experiences. And I'm not saying that this is going to be in every coach and coachee relationship. I think that it's a very unique relationship that him and I have, to where I see him as a father figure. And yes, for Father's Day, I do send him a card, and I do send him a gift. And so do I do the same thing for my real father. My biological father gets flowers in the cemetery for Father's Day and all that. So I think it was just the age that he started coaching me. I was a teenager and throughout my teens. So it's as if he saw me grow, because he did. He really did. And into a young adult, into now a full-on adult. So I believe that that's what has allowed us to have almost like a father-daughter relationship type of thing. So it saved me from the bumps and bruises. It saved me from distracting or veering on into a direction that I didn't want to. And it allowed me to stay on track my entire life. And it allowed me to stay accountable. It allowed me to really not fall into the statistics that were bound to get me, if you want to put it that way, because statistically, the people from the area that I'm in, they're not high. But he allowed that not to be me by coaching me and helping me throughout my entire career, not in my entire teens, but most of my teenage years and as a young adult. And it was just beautiful to see the entire relationship evolve over time and over a lot of scenarios. But one thing that he always says is my perseverance, that's what kept me on track, and my dedication and my work ethic. I think that a lot of us want super extraordinary results without putting the extra work. So without putting the extra work, don't expect extra in ordinary. So those are things to just think about. So that's how life coaching has changed my life and has allowed me to stay on track, make my own decisions, and be able to be me and be deep rooted into who I am and be okay with the decisions I made because someone else believed in me. So that's what coaches do. They believe in you, keep you accountable, and help the distraction not distract you. So guys, always remember that if this today has made a difference into you and you want to continue to be on this journey with me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel on YouTube. There's a newsletter that you can subscribe to as well. And in that newsletter, we go deeper into situations, and it goes out every Monday as well. And I talk about different topics, and I give you a glimpse of my life, and you stay also updated in the latest news of the podcast. So till next time, I will see you. And always remember, you get more with Gabby, even a double O and more.